We're chatting with Jason Vega here on AM 1460, the new WXBR, former member of the Brockton Boxers during their Super Bowl years of the mid-2000s, and over the past year, spent some time playing in the NFL before he signed once again with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where he's currently a defensive end. Let's talk about Patriots training camp. Your first NFL training camp had to have been quite the experience because it certainly was no ordinary training camp for the New England Patriots at the beginning of this season. Originally, everyone thought it wasn't going to be a normal training camp because the media scrutiny would be big because Tim Tebow was a part of the team. That became an afterthought after their star tight end Aaron Hernandez was arrested on murder charges. First off, did you ever have any experiences with Aaron Hernandez while he was still a part of the organization? What do you think of him?
He and I did not have very many interactions, and from what I can tell you, from a personal point of view, we didn't exactly hit it off when we had our interactions. I didn't find him to be a very personable person in terms of wanting to get to know anyone. I know he had his dealings with his guys that he had always been around, so Gronk and Edelman and like those kinds of guys. But for he and I don't think we ever really had a moment where we shared anything of significance.
So he hung out basically with the wide receivers on the offensive side of the ball.
For what little he did, yeah.
I have to imagine that it was shockwaves throughout the organization when all of a sudden the news came out that Aaron Hernandez was being investigated in relation to a murder, then ultimately arrested, and then subsequently released from the team. What was the atmosphere like when all that went down?
It was really... It was talk amongst the players, but it wasn't anything that was spoken upon out in the open just because they really didn't want us talking about it, because we didn't know enough about what was going on, and there was a lot of investigating, obviously, at the time and reporting. So for us, it was, hopefully it's not true, but, we need to continue in preparation for the season and training camp and things like that. So, hopefully everything that you see on TV isn't true, but you start to believe a little bit more and more of it as you kind of find out more.
I remember they asked Tom Brady specifically about Aaron Hernandez, and he basically said, "I can't talk. Stacey told me not to." Stacey being Stacey James, who is the Patriots media person that we deal with here in the media. What exactly did the Patriots PR team tell the players in relation to the numerous questions you were bound to get from the media with this nationwide huge story?
They just said, don't talk about it. Just point it to Stacey or, tell them to talk to the media relations, to talk to Coach Belichick, but don't say anything in direct relation of that situation about Aaron, his character, his dealings with the team, anything.
And you're the new guy, so you don't want to say anything because you're not on anyone's radar, and you probably don't want to be at that point in relation to that.
Yeah, I was trying to maintain the be seen, not heard mentality when I was there, so I definitely wasn't going to say anything about him, especially since I didn't really know him because he wasn't around a whole lot towards the beginning because he had just had, I guess, shoulder surgery or something like that. So he wasn't around too much at that point, and I didn't know him enough to actually have an opinion of him, so...
Was it difficult or easy for the team to sort of put that in the back of their head and move forward with the task at hand of preparing for the football season?
I think it was easy. Maybe not for the guys that were the closest to him, maybe Tom, because, obviously that creates a significant hole in the offense for him going into the season. But I think overall as a team it was easy because it's such a business atmosphere there that Coach Belichick doesn't allow things like that, even something of that magnitude, to bother the team or hinder them in a way that would, I guess, create a problem for the season.